Hello there, Ian here once again, and great to be with you. Today we're talking about better being better than best. Now, that might be a bit of a tongue twister, but I think there's some great lessons to be learned from that phrase. To set the idea up, I'd like to go back to a story I heard from one of my favourite speakers, a guy called Mark Sanborn, who was preparing to give a presentation to Panasonic a few years ago. Now, before he gave his presentation, he congratulated one of the executives on being the leading player in that market. He said, congratulations, I checked the data this morning and it seems that you are leading the field in this market sector. Well done. The Panasonic executive said, thanks very much, but please do not say that when you're on stage making your presentation. Mark said, okay, I was just trying to pay you a compliment and recognise what you've done. He said, that's kind, but we don't benchmark ourselves against our competition, we benchmark ourselves against our capabilities. And at the moment, we believe we are underperforming our potential. And that's a great lesson to live by. How many of our company vision statements or mission statements or goal statements make reference to being number one, the best in our market, the preferred service provider in our sector? Now, if it does, I'm not saying that that's right or wrong or good or bad, but I would ask, if you make reference to being the best or being number one, can you measure what that means? Is it accepted in your market? And do you know when you get there? For example, is it the highest market capitalization? Is it the highest number of sales? The largest number of workers? The highest number of branches? What does that actually mean? Can you measure it? And do you know when you get to number one, and is it recognized in your industry, or is it debatable? So if you're not trying to be the best, or it's a matter of debate, how can you improve? And the answer to that is in the first sentence. Better is better than best. Now, why would you continually want to get better without worrying too much about the competition? Because we can't really measure, in many cases, where we are in relation to the competition. All we can do is look at ourselves, our own performance, and get better at that. Here are two great reasons why you would choose to get better. And the first is, it's pretty much the only way to survive in business. Unless you are in a rapidly expanding market where anybody can sell and make a decent profit, which is extremely rare these days, but unless you're in a rapidly expanding market, the only way to grow your business is to be taking customers away from the competition or getting to the customer before the competition does. So if you picture a swarm of locusts, locusts fly very fast in a swarm, and that's really because the locust behind is trying to eat the locust in front, who is trying to eat the locust in front of that, who is, and on you go. So you're either going to become lunch or you eat lunch. So that's the reason these critters fly so fast. And it's pretty much the same in business today. If you're in an even moderately mature market, the only way to improve is to get customers from the competition or to get customers before somebody else does. So we need to be getting better and improving because everybody else is. The next major reason to get better is that your customers' expectations are never static. Whatever you did last time becomes your customer's new expectation. And if they got a slightly better experience last time than they did before, the new level becomes the standard. Everybody else, like I mentioned before, is trying to improve what they do to steal your customers away. So your customers are always expecting more. They are always being offered more from the competition as a lure away from you. So your customers' expectations are always increasing. So unless you are innovating around the customer experience, you're probably going to lose customers over the long term to your competition. And by the way, there are lots more ways to improve the customer's experience than you've probably thought of. Brainstorm every planning session, whether that's monthly or quarterly, however often that you meet. Always be looking for extra added experiences that can improve the overall experience from dealing with you. So, eat lunch or be eaten, and your customers' experiences are always going to increase. The last idea that I'd like to share with you is that if we focus on out-executing ourselves, outperforming what we did yesterday or the week before that, if we constantly are focused on outperforming our own personal best, we can't lose. If we keep moving forward and out-executing ourselves, pretty much we can out-execute the competition. Is it easy or hard? You probably guessed the answer to that. But here's another great phrase, and it comes again from Mark Sanborn. And I don't know who he got it from, but the phrase is this: the tough breaks, the tough periods in improving are there to keep the competition out. And that's another great phrase to live by. Improvement is hard, but if it's hard, you can probably guess or bet that only a few people will keep embarking on that journey each day, each week, and each month. So, out-execute yourself. Get better. Don't try and measure yourself against the competition too much. You might want to keep an eye on what people are doing, but the definition of success, as I've demonstrated earlier, is somewhat debatable. Out-execute yourself, and you really put your path onto success and the pathway to maintain your scalability and profitability. I really hope that did make sense, and I look forward to sharing with you again soon.